Yeah, what's up, James? Good to see you. Fuck, let me get comfortable. What's up? Yo, what's up? Hello, James. Hello, L. Hello, type of a hater, which is a typological hater. Rusty Musty, interesting name. And the fifth. Hello, Upper Will. What's up, guys? Yo, are you? Yo, wait. Let me see. It's Professor. Yo, what's up, Professor? Somebody. We have all the geeks. We have all the geeks. We have the geek team. So we're ready for the big questions. We're ready for the super fucking in-depth geeky correlation questions. What's up, Connor? It's good to see you. It's been a while. Yo, El, give me a second, eh? Let me just do something real quick. Where is? Okay. It's done. El, it is done. Let's not, obviously, let's not pull fucking Raven where motherfuckers don't agree with them in the fucking chat, then bitches get muted, and then 2 hours later I find out the people on the stream were fucking muted. Now obviously the cunt that got muted, it was a cunt, so it doesn't really matter, but still the fucking principle of it. What is up, Rahat Kopayev? Kopayev. Stalin. So a lot of, if you read the SO6, uh, the SO6 book, it is very second will coded. Now third physics can still work with a type like LSI because you're looking at the whole picture. You're looking at the whole type. The whole type, LVFE as a type, as an not just as one placement, but how all of the placements work in conjunction. LFVE would never be an LI because I told you it's a reactive, physically imposing type. That's not a C-polar. Okay, wait, sorry guys, I was deep in my DMs. I was deep in my motherfucking DMs. So what did I miss? I've so 2 weeks ago, someone came to me and told me about those subtypes, those like yin and yang, like female and like masculine and fucking submissive, feminine. I don't really have many thoughts about it because I haven't really read into it. I didn't really give a fuck about it. Someone told me that every SLE is gonna be yang. Was it fucking yang or some fucking yin? I don't fucking remember. The point is, I didn't look into it, and I'm not even sure if it's something that is very useful or necessary. Like, is it needed? Will that give me additional view of things? Will that give me something that maybe I wouldn't have if I didn't know it? You know what I'm saying? Maybe different variety of types, different combinations. If that's the case, I would definitely look more into it. Now, reality is SP3 will always will fit 2V better, you know. But the nature of SP3 is not that of a fucking greedy piece of shit who goes around trying to jerk off to like social standards. It's a person who, yes, they do have standards, but they have self-imposed standards that they're trying to reach. They're not trying to kind of fit societal standards of like maybe like the social 3 would in such a way. It's much more self-imposed standards of perfection or self-imposed standards of you know excellence that they try to achieve, which is why they're so similar to Enneagram 1, because of that, again, perfectionistic and self-imposing nature of self-preservation 3. So I think you can be 1V person and set those very high standards for yourself. You don't basically, you do it because you believe that represents you. I think it's possible to be that way, then be 1V, which could fit SP3. Although, of course, we can agree that 2V is better. Listen, so you said you're new, but you are correct. It is not possible. Now, it's pretty simple, right? 8 core. This is what I'm going to tell you. Few key points of Enneagram 8. It's a type that's focused on immediate satisfaction. It's an very grounded type that's focused on what's real here and now, right? Tangible, and it's an action oriented type. So it's action over thinking, action over logical formulas, action over adherence to standards, which is much more a C than would be ever TE. Now, another point against ENTJ is that there's no NI auxiliary. It's a type that only lives in the present. They neglect the past and they neglect the future. They just want to focus on how to get the satisfaction in the moment, and that is the focus of it, the intensity, gaining that intensity of the moment. That's what an 8 core really cares about as the driving force of things. That's why it's just not a good fit for a ENTJ types that's much more focused on the future, much more adhering to different standards, much more perfectionistic, much more future oriented, far sighted. So it's not the perfect fit at all in any way, shape, of motherfucking form. It doesn't exist, basically. But upper will mention something really cool here. Basically, why I said too. It is self-actualization here, right? It's not about showing it to people, shoving it in people's faces. It is truly self-actualization. Now, an argument, and a real life example of 1V SP3, in my opinion. Now, you might disagree, but I'm open. Um, would be Tristan Tate. Andrew Tate has a brother, and I think Tristan seems much more to me to be the 1VSP3 type. But again, people have different fucking opinions when it comes to typing, motherfuckers. So, hello, Blizz. SP4 is it's quite an enduring type that doesn't struggle with its will. I don't think you could ever see a self-preservation for type that has bad will, that has weak will. They're very enduring. They tend to be stoic in their enduring kind of attitude. They push forward. They tend to kind of be very open and very flexible with willpower, right? Accepting of others in that sense. So it would be hard to look at SP4 as a type that struggles to self motivate, struggles with their with the ability to move towards things, right? Even with the EII, you'd probably have like a EV type, second will. It's much more enduring type that doesn't just rely on other people like a fucking droid. That's my take on it. So I think if you, I suggest you to read Syntax of Love. If you Google Syntax of Love, you should find it, and it's very interesting because if you do read the 1V description, there is quite a bit written about what happens when they don't achieve their goal. What happens when they're at the top and then maybe they lose the position, maybe they lose, right, everything that they earned, all their ambition that they fucking worked really really hard to achieve, all of it, they lose it just like that. And what happens to their psyche? And they still get impacted, at least in the Syntax of Love, they still get impacted. I think they even used an example of Churchill, I think, becoming depressed when he was not, at the top of the fucking food chain. So you can be 1V and they're not really fulfilling your self-actualization. I think it can put a dent on the 1V. It's not going to crush it like it would with a 3V person, but it will, in my opinion, impact them. They're fucking human, let's not look at 1V as a superhuman type, even though it's easy, right? Because it's like first will. They don't give a fuck about anything. And reality is many of our stereotypes of first will come from 8 core, from Enneagram 8, in my opinion. And even then, it's exaggerated, because all of us get impacted by failures. All of us get impacted by, we had a dream and the dream gets crushed. All of us get fucking disappointed, All of us get kind of like, that sucks. That fucking sucks. But the difference is how you fucking handle it. Do you, does that kind of shake the foundation of who you are? Does that shake the core of who you are? Right? Break you mentally, and you believe just your whole self worth based on that incident is gone. And with 1V, probably not, because okay, failing sucks, and having your ambitions and then those ambitions being ruined does suck. But at the end of the day, life fucking goes on, and you're more than just your ambitions, you're more than just those plans. So that's my motherfucking take. I just went on a fucking rant. SX7 is one of the most unstructured, crazy, idealistic, magical thinking types that have ever lived. It is pure fucking scattered brained. There's zero fucking logic with SX7, okay? Very fucking great intellectual people in many cases, very creative, that they rely on that creativity. But I just don't see an indication of the type being ever having thoughts that are very logically consistent or logically structured. I just don't see that. Can 3F be neurotic? You got to understand the thing. By the way, guys, sorry if I am reading shit slowly. I'm trying to fucking answer most people. So you can be many types and be neurotic, okay? Because if when you're saying neurotic, you mean neuroticism, I'm assuming, in big five. So you the thing is, you can be 3F and be fucking neurotic. There are many people who, many 4Vs even, who are very neurotic, and they maybe thought they were a fucking 3V, they thought they were a 3F, they thought they were a 3L, and they came out to be 4V, not necessarily 3V. So things like that do happen. Just because you're neurotic, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to be third will, not necessarily. There must be more to it than just that. New, of course, man. Listen, you're new. Listen, you're new, and you're already doing something good by asking questions. You're curious. You want to find the answer, and the benefit you have of asking those questions is that you already know the fucking answer. But back when we used to be in typology, back when I used to learn this shit, Everyone thought ENTJ was a thing. I thought that shit was a thing. So I had to fucking, learn new things. So you're at the fucking great time in typology when you honestly don't need to correct your opinions as much as some of us had to, because that's just the fucking nature of Enneagram. Rasta, tell me I'm a cosplayer. Listen, I'm a shock you. I'm gonna blow your fucking mind. I'm gonna blow your fucking mind. Listen to this. Just because you're crying right now, although you know what, so you fuck, I fucked up because I was reading that and I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna tell him that if he's crying right now, he can still be an eight because maybe something fucking tragic happened. But then I realized what fucking eight core would go on a fucking stream, mention that they're fucking crying right now. That would be the weirdest shit ever. You are a fucking cosplayer. Get the fuck out. I'm fucking around, of course. Yeah. It's funny, but I got inspired in terms of when we were talking about Enneagram six. I was like, okay, what is the issue of a six? And that's where the OCD. I was like, OCD. And then I looked into OCD. Yes, a lot of the problem with the OCD thing was it's so fucking vague too. Like double checking, having intrusive thoughts. So a lot of that fearful shit is there, but just there's just not as much information as I was hoping for. Um, so that's fucking it. And then I saw the paranoid personality disorder, which it did fit with LSI much better than, for example, it would with a fucking, I don't know, LII SO6. Now, this is very true, guys. Listen, in Tristan, it's funny, but you can tell if someone is 1V or if someone's 3V. You can tell it. I think people with low will have a harder time to fucking know. You just know. You often know how they carry themselves. With Andrew, you see a lot of flexing. There's a lot of flexing and a lot of try harding. With Tristan, not as much. I mean, you can see that perfectionistic shit definitely attuned to being a professional, how he carries himself. But I'm not really seeing as much as self-promoting focus. Look at me. We need to do this. I'm fucking not much of that circle jerking status and ability excellence. Not as much with him. In fact, when people ask him, why do you give your brother the spotlight? He says he has no issues with that because he's happy for his brother because his brother is better than him in many ways. His brother can fight better. His brother he has no issues in completely giving him the spotlight because he's very just secure in himself. He's secure in his volition. That's how I would interpret it at least. So that's my view of Tristan motherfucking Tate. Yo, motherfucker, I did tell you you're a cosplayer. I already said you're a cosplayer. Guys, I'll tell you guys thing. This, I should start fucking getting donations. $5. Yo, Ross, tell me I'm a fucking cosplayer, Th- that should turn into a motherfucking donation. Everyone wants to be called a fucking cosplayer. And by the way, the word cosplayer, I've made, I obviously it's not made by me, but I have made it. I put it into typology, and it's crazy. I walk around, I look at personality database, I look at those different websites, and I see people using this fucking word. They're like, he's a cosplayer, and I'm like, even those motherfuckers who hate me, they're like, he's a cosplayer. This guy's cosplaying. I was like, motherfuckers, you're you're fucking you're influenced by my shit. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Fuck. What's your opinion on the worst case? There's too many to count. There's too many to count, man. So many fucking mistypes. I cannot tell you a single one. It's just not common. And sorry, it's not uncommon. Huge mistypes happen all the fucking time. And I've noticed, especially when the profile, for example, personality database, when it's not very, when it's not popular. So when it's not popular, when it's not very mainstream, I would say 95% of the time, it's a mistype. And it's a fucking brutal mistype, you know? Like it does. This shit's just normal. This shit's completely fucking normal. If SP is SP4 only for L, could it be 3L? If let's say you put it 3L, what type would this be? That's my uh, curiosity. James, you should know me. I don't even know what the fuck Sex Pistols is. Johnny Rotten, but by his surname, I would probably say SX4. Rotten seems very sexual thought to me. So that's my idea. What does Corey Taylor? Yo, Corey Taylor is fucking hilarious. I don't know how to type him though. I don't know how to type Corey. I would type him as SC base, maybe. Yeah, sure. I don't know which AC base, maybe SLE, but I don't know the subtype of 8. I'm not. I don't have any idea. So basically, you are a superhuman. You are the fucking Ubermensch motherfucker who transcends everything, the godlike creature, fucking VFLE, every fucking subtype first subtype, 27 fucking type. Depending on the type, man. Depending on the type, it's a big type. But generally, the traits I would see is definitely focus on physicality, very dutiful, tend to be hardworking, consistent, practical, concrete, responsible, fair, very fair, confident. Those would be some of the traits I would see with FV represented. Definitely a more grounded physical type, with that V giving them more responsible, dutiful, and just fair nature. So that's how I would view it personally. Do you think we will ever make a contradiction list? What do you mean by contradiction list? Because we have correlations list. So you want to make a contradiction list? But what for? That would be like, fuck, that would be a lot of time there spent on that shit. I think, listen, I think you're fucking human, okay? Obviously, if don't nitpick the details. Can I be? There was someone who told me, "Oh, can I be for F if I like fucking?" And I'm like, "Well, if it fits, if for physics fits you very well, and you like fucking, why would you retype just because you like fucking?" So just because you sometimes don't feel like the smartest guy in the class, or you have some don't have, everyone has something you don't have, and you feel some type of fucking way, I would not immediately just remove first will typing from you. That would be my fucking attitude towards it. I would look at the core. I would look at in general, because will does just capture the whole personality, and it's often not just in how you feel about shit, but it's your attitude to things. 1V just inherently believes in their ability to carve their own purpose, and other people can see it, other people can sense it. It's a person who truly has confidence to carve its own path, and at the end of the day, that's what the fuck it is. So my favorite authors for Anagram, I would say, there are a few good ones, man. There are few good ones. Sandra Maitri, I actually think she's kind of based. I've read many things of Sandra Maitri when in relation to your childhood and shit. She's definitely on the more spiritual side, so some of her shit, it's kind of like, oh yeah, she's fucking rambling, but she gives you another perspective that's pretty fucking useful, in my opinion. Goes in depth. I would say Haiki. I like Haiki. Those would probably be the two ones. Beatrice Chestnut. Sometimes, I guess I would say she's very simplified, and sometimes she misses the mark, but she's not the worst. Just not Risa Hudson. No, you cannot be a sexual six. Sorry, you are not spurgy enough. Ha 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 ha. If you follow me, if you follow my channel, I think any LSI is fucking cursed. But you're using Model G, by the way, my friend. You're using Model G because Model A doesn't have LSIN. LSI normalizing, that's Model G. And then Model G is different. Model G is different. So in Model G, I think, yeah, you can be an SP1, probably LSIN. But in Model A, which one is what I'm using? No, it's not a thing. Why would Cristiano be LSC? I'm not sure I'm seeing LSC here. To be honest with you, I never gave a fuck about Cristiano Ronaldo too much. So my opinion my opinion is worth dog shit. This is funny. This is really funny, but it's actually fucking good. It's a good question, and it's in my opinion the answer. You will be fucking mind blown. The answer is kind of yes, kind of yes. And now, if you asked me months ago, maybe I'll tell you no. It's actually very beneficial, and it is. But I've also noticed the negative aspects of this of typology, and usually because it's a system of identity, and people who are into typology, most of them are many image cores. They're very oriented towards identity. And many of them are very young. Most people who are in typology are fucking teenagers. So you let a bunch of teenagers who are discovering their identity into this fucking categorical system, and it's becoming a fuckfest. I've seen people adapt to different labels. I've seen people change their behavior because they thought they were this X, Y, and Z type. I've seen people act in a very stereotypical way just because they thought they had to fit some type. In that sense, I believe it is very restrictive. So as long as you're able to just be your own fucking person and don't give a fuck about, like, yeah, the label is a descriptor. The category is simply a fucking explanation of who you are, but you shouldn't try to compensate or focus or cling to it. And once you cling to a typing, or cling to some identity that you've created, that's when you fucked up. That's when you fucked up. So in my opinion, it certainly can be a detriment. For you, who's the most? I would say obviously SX8 is the most limbic. Mainly because, listen, they're described as the most emotional. That they are described as the most histrionic eight, while SP8 is described as the most cold-blooded, as the most unemotional eight. And also a simple comparison between SX8, which is SCE, and SP8, which is SLE. Usually, on average, the SLE is going to be less limbic. You know, SCEs tend to be kind of fucking limbic, in general. But yeah, I would say SX8 would be more limbic. Uh, this is true, and obviously this was our kind of typological journey. We've all been there. I You look at someone and you're like, he's very witty, or he's into theory. He likes thinking about theory rather than just talking about fucking you know nail polish. He must be an intuitive type. I've seen that shit happen. I've had people type me extroverted, like an NE type, NE based, because I was witty, because I was making fucking jokes. So they're like, that must be NE. So it's so simplified in MBTI to such fucking crazy degree, but simplified in a incorrect way. So that's the funny thing. If it was simplified in a correct way, that would be acceptable. But it's simplified in absolute dogshit way, which is completely fucking unacceptable. They're the most popular 70s punk band. You basically insinuated I'm a fucking boomer because I don't know who the fuck this band is from the 70s. I know maybe I vibe like a fucking boomer, and my wife tells me I'm a fucking boomer in many ways because I'm busy listening to fucking modern talking from the fucking 80s. So I understand why you thought that and assumed that. But motherfucker, that ain't me. On a serious note, I wouldn't be surprised if I know Sex Pistols, but the name doesn't tell me shit. I'm a person. If I hear the song, trust me, maybe I'll know. I'll like, okay, I understand the fucking beat. Either way, I'll tell you later. Um. Okay, so now planful typing is interesting. I haven't really circle jerked him that much, but and I've seen people type him social too. EIE. From what I've seen of the guy, he was borderline fucking autistic. He was rude, insensitive, completely oblivious to how he treated women. His personal relationships were absolute fucking dog shit. And he was obviously a great commander and great in the field. Yes, I'll probably type him an SLE, social aid. Maybe that's how I would go about it. Now, if someone tells me, oh, that's incorrect, he's this type. Okay, maybe, but just don't tell me he's a fucking EIE. Fucking EIE. Yeah, he's a fucking EIE. He's for physics EIE. Yes, yes. He fucking is for physics EIE. Yo, oh my god, dude. You were talking about the infamous EVLF, the infamous EVLF that cannot be eliminated from the planet Earth. Man, listen, but social fall with strong will. It's so hard to believe, right? I'm open to it. I'm gonna tell you, I'm open. But from a theoretical standpoint, it is kind of fucking hard to imagine that anyone who identifies as social fall would identify with strong will. That's my only fucking problem here. But I'm open. Fuck it. I'm showing everyone how fucking open minded I am. Actually, that does. that could fit second will though. It's adaptability to different positions. It's adaptability to different roles from a person who, you know, from an affectionate individual, someone who enforces shit. I mean, I don't see why would completely contradict second will. Second will is not just goody two shoes. Besides, there are many examples of this type. In, you know, there's many examples of LSI second will. It's not weird. The issue I have here, in my opinion, is you're fighting for something because you identify with it. You know what I'm saying? You think you're this type, so it must exist. But, you know, right? So that's what I think is going on here. You're trying because you probably identify as a weird combination yourself, but I would say just look at examples. Look at examples of those LSIs, second will. You'll find many of those. Do you think that hello, Bane, by the way. Do you think that typing characters people can turn into nitpicking parts to justify different types? I would say, yeah, obviously. I've seen this happen a lot. And it was. The problem with it is that typology is perception based. Right? It is perception based. It is not something you measure. It is not something that I can have 1,000 people look at, measure, and agree on the same result. I can have 100 people have different fucking conclusions. It simply is based on perception. That's already a bad thing. But those things do happen. And for example, Billy Hargrove, which is, I think, we all see this individual who fits 8 core. He fits it perfectly, right? There's nothing really about him that contradicts 8. Now, there are people who will then go and nitpick things like, yes, but he was afraid of his father who beat him and terrorized him. And because he was afraid, all of his other actions must have been caused by the fear of this fucking dad. So that means he's driven by fear. And it's like, you nitpick this one fucking detail while every single motherfucking trait, the personality trait shown by this fucking character, doesn't fit it. So what the fuck are you doing? You're using your detail as a justification for a fucking mistype and butchering the whole fucking idea. So what do you think what you should be able to do? Hopefully have the right fucking perception. Now this is, I don't believe that this can be done by everyone. I've genuinely seen people who commit this mistake consistently. Consistently, instead of looking at what is right ahead of them, they take this one fucking detail and then fucking use the argument. And it's a consistent pattern for such fucking people. And in my opinion, they're fucked. That such people are fucked, and no matter what the fuck they do, they can't change it. For everyone else, the way I would go about typing a character, stop over obsessing about like fucking inherent driving methods of this person and why they do what the fuck they do on a driving on a some molecular level as a fucking rocket scientist. Look at the basics. Look at what you see. Look at how he behaves. Just look at the personality traits. That's the fucking first thing you should do. Extroverted, introverted, okay? Lastful, not lastful, perfectionistic, rigid, rational, irrational, active, inactive. You need to look at many of those personality traits. And the more personality traits you're able to observe, the more you are able to create a picture of a type. So that's how I would say start on a very basic level. Start in a with an overview. Start with an overview and then get deeper. But don't try to use super like fucking crazy mental justifications because then you're not fucking, you don't give a fuck about typology. No, dude, there are many people that do say you'd be surprised, and some of them I respect. They, I've seen some of users that I do respect because they have good takes, um, and they simply get creative. And that's a possible flaw of having very high NE. You really get creative with shit, and it can backfire. But I feel like this EIE shit comes mainly from people who jerk off to Naranjo. And as you all know, I jerk off to Naranjo, but I'm not a blind fucking believer of everything Naranjo says. For example, just because I look at Naranjo's book and I see him typing fucking Socrates or some other characters as eight, I don't actually believe this fucking person is an eight. Just because this motherfucker, based on this little, on his own little perception of this fucking person, they type them as that. I don't believe that's their fucking type. And because pretty sure Napoleon was typed as a social two, every jerk off is going around saying he's a fucking IE social two. Yeah, but and people fucking keep forgetting. Social two is detached from direct action most of the time. They're not very grounded people who prioritize the physical action and physical forcefulness as was seen with Napoleon. That's what he had to do. Use that physicality, the ability to fucking push himself into action without fucking slacking off. The reason, the reality is SO2s are many of them just struggle with staying fucking grounded. They just fucking don't they're not good at taking care of the physical environment of the fucking physicality of the world. That's what people seem to really fucking forget. That's why, by the way, speaking the fuck of, there's this character from Stranger Things. Maybe you guys know him. His name is Jason. Jason Carver. Now, I've seen some scenes. I was watching this guy. I've seen some scenes. He has some speeches. Okay, speeches. He, his girl died. He was trying to get revenge. I go on personality database and I see him being typed as a social 2 EIE. I look at the PY and I see VELF. And I'm thinking. I don't know the guy, but I'm thinking. So it's a guy who's a captain of the fucking basketball team or whatever the fucking football team, whatever the fuck team. He's a fucking sports athlete, excels in leading people on the fucking field. He's known to use fucking violence and physicality to enforce his will and get his fucking desires met and enact revenge. And then I see this motherfucker being typed as a fucking 4F. So what the fuck is going on? What is this? How did we come to this fucking conclusion here? Even ignoring this SO2 or EIE, just even that PY. How the fuck did we come to that conclusion? Here, maybe first time correlations have fucked us. Not us, but those people who voted him. They voted him EIE, they voted him SO2, they must have voted him VELF. Man. Yes, non Q&A streams. Do you plan on doing non? I mean, this is not even a Q&A stream. I'm sitting here, and people are asking me fucking questions. Maybe one of those days I'm gonna do some streams where we will like maybe tier list streams or maybe kind of look at Reddit, some of the fucking crazy shit on an anagram board, and we can kind of have a laugh or maybe criticize a bit. Maybe I'm gonna do that. But this is actually a good idea. I know I was arguing, of course, I was arguing with Raven about this. I don't know what the fuck's the problem with this fucking combination. What the fuck, man? Am I missing something? I don't fucking like it. I thought this fucking works. This combination fucking works. I'm not completely fucking sold on it only being fucking 8 fix. I'm not fucking gonna do that yet. I know, man. We all do. Naranjo has the good shit. He has the good shit. But he's I've that's the my biggest criticism to Naranjo, and people who just blindly follow his typings. Really, that I just don't understand. Why would you do that? But my biggest criticism is his dramatis personae book. I think was it called that, with the fucking the description that him typing characters, him typing people, like from like people characters from literature, from movies. And dude, he mistyped many people. Like I don't agree on so many fucking typings, and people use those typings as, well, he typed this person as a fucking 8, and this person's also typed as an ENTP. That means the ENTP 8 works. It's like, no, maybe he just fucking he typed the fucking motherfucking individual based on his perception of this person, based on specific information, specific quotes he fucking saw, and that's what he fucking typed. He didn't, come on, man. What's the picture? I don't fucking know what's the picture. Like genuinely, I'm an EI. I'm 4F. That calendar, that shit's not even mine. But what I can tell you is that it's like some it's probably it's some fucking church. I'm assuming it's some fucking church from what the fuck I can see. One of them fucking 100 million motherfucking churches in fucking Poland. That's probably what the fuck it is. Personally, I never gave a fuck about that. That's also, it's crazy how I don't even know details like that. Like I don't even know the details. Like if someone actually looked at it like, yo, you have a calendar, I'm like, what the fuck, I have a calendar? Yeah, but what's on the calendar? I don't fucking know what the fuck's on the calendar because I don't give a shit. But yeah, that's what it is. Man, my journey was very complex, like everyone else's. I started with MBTI. I got typed as an ENTP. Then I got typed as an ENTJ, but I self-typed as an ENTP. I did Enneagram many years ago on the test, and I got 8. So I was 8. I was like, okay. Then I read more. Then I kind of got more serious into Enneagram, so I was reading the different sources and different authors. But I always knew I was 8. I was kind of the people who knew me. It was very obvious. I was like, okay, I'm an 8. I read all the shit. Okay. So that was not a problem. The Enneagram was not a problem. The subtypes were a problem, but just the core type was very easy. But my MBTI was shit. I was like, am I an ENTJ? Am I an ENTP? Then I go into socionics. I discovered I'm an SLE very early on. That was also pretty fucking easy because I would say socionics is easier at deciphering like the difference between ILE and SLE. But in MBTI, the difference between ENTP and ESTP is so fucking enormous that I never viewed myself as an ESTP that way. And everyone told me I cannot be one. So that kind of fucking bullshit my whole view. And my journey is very fucking complex because even if you look from my whole, you guys are part of the journey. The reason why I'm saying that is because if you look from my channel from many months ago, 10 months, 11 months ago, I'm gonna fucking vomit on the stream. I just ate pizza. But if you look at the street, if you look at the old videos, you'll see my takes changed. My old correlations list, huge fucking difference. And do you know why? And people sometimes get upset. Yeah, but you know, 12 months ago you said this, 11 months ago you said that. It's like, well, 12 months was 12 months. 12 months of fucking living, right? I would hope something fucking changed. So, made my first correlations list and it was weak. It was a weak list because I was super loose. I was super loose with it because I didn't understand the subtypes. Super loose. But over that period of time, I got I got more fucking detailed, more detailed, more detailed. So the honestly the channel is really the biggest journey. Because before that it was all the stupid MBTI. This channel is the real journey. What do you think about Quadra's course? I don't know. What are those? What are those fears? What are those fears? Because I don't know those things. I did not read into this. You said it's not a Q&A. Fucking the point is I wasn't planning to do a fucking Q&A. But you Jewish motherfuckers, if I send you if all of you join the chat, all you do is just fucking questions. Like I'm a fucking prostitute. I'm just a whore. Everyone's fucking sending the motherfucking questions. So here I am clowning. Here I am fucking jumping loops so people can have the motherfucking answers. If you define this motherfucking clown and ZooFest as a Q&A, I suppose this is a fucking Q&A. Fuck. But oh my god, no. No, please no. I have to just say one thing. Cognitively introverted, Enneagram 2. That's all I have to say and you'll know the answer. Cognitively introverted, Enneagram 2. That's it. That's it. Who's most sociable and crowd oriented between SLE and ILE? Fuck. It's a close one. Both FU mobilizing. Fuck, man. Both, okay, that's the issue. Both are FU mobilizing and both are, fucking beta quadra and alpha quadra. Both very focused on that group orientation in terms of like alphas, creating the fun atmosphere, jokes, ideas. I think they're both up there. But if I was to really focus, on average, maybe ILE is a bit more social, maybe. Because considering the SLE archetype would be like a self preservation 8, it makes me lean a bit more to the ILE. But I'm open. Either way, in my opinion, it's not the worst. And that's and it's really crazy. I've had people call me a hypocrite, and I ask them why. Well, because you used to fucking defend this combination, and I'm like, I know, and now I change my mind. I hope you would too, right? And people will change their mind. Some are quicker to change their mind than others, but in the end, everyone does. That's just that's how this works. You know what? I'll tell you why I think so. Because first, when ENTJ8 was a thing, everyone believed in it. Everyone, everyone, and their fucking dog and their mom. Now, I don't know a single person around me or like any community I know that thinks ENTJ8 is a thing. Yet, 3-4 months ago, people were fighting to defend it. So it's very natural. Slowly, we will adapt. Slowly, everyone will change their fucking mind, and they will tell me, "Oh yeah, you were fucking right." Just some of us are faster to the adaptation than others. That's it. And it's okay to be fucking wrong. Hey, I didn't know shit back then. I changed my opinion. Here is why I changed my opinion. I think isn't that the fucking point of typology? I thought that's the point of typology. I'm really confused. So I will tell you this. The problem with typing people by motivations is that a fucking dork can sit here and make up and assume a motivation looking at you. He will imagine you're a character. I'm being a fucking ILE right now. But imagine you are a character, in a movie, and we, the audience, comes in and tries to type you. So we're going and looking at your profile, and some fucking person sits down and says, well, I think Mizuiko, they have their motivation is to fucking slurp, their motivation is to fucking do this, and they're basically projecting. They created a perception of you. Gave you a motivation that maybe didn't even exist in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it didn't even exist. They gave it to you because they were fucking looking at your behaviors, your motivations, and they maybe, oh, I know, he has fucking daddy issues. That must be why he behaves that way. That's the answer. I just created a motivation for you. So that's the problem, and that was the Billy Hargrove mistake, right? He's scared of his father, and he's an abusive guy. Obviously, I'm sure he abuses people because it's driven by his fear of his dad. That's why he's abusive. You know, you see how I just fucking did? Just gave this motherfucker a motivation out of thin air, just like that, just because I fucking wanted to. So, in my opinion, too much of a jerk off. Behaviors are the key. But I'll tell you something. What motivates you to act a certain way, it will show in behavior. It will show in behavior. There's no fucking way around it. If, for example, you are an Enneagram 3, you're a social 3, and you are a lazy piece of shit who doesn't fucking do anything but jerk off on his couch, you are not an Enneagram SO3. Because if you had the motivation of a social 3, you would have been fucking grinding day in and day the fuck out to become the best version of who you are. But you're a fucking couch potato. Clearly, something doesn't fucking align. I do think the motivation should manifest in a behavior. If there's a fucking problem with that, you're probably fucking it up, you know? No, I ain't fucking. So, Kiro, you will be thinking to yourself in this way, which is fair. Well, self-preservation 6 can doubt themselves. They can have that insecure logic, right? They might not know what is true, what's not true. That must be indication of third will, third logic. But think about this way: if self-preservation is not first logic and it's third logic, what would it be? SP6 would be 1F. SP6 would be 1E. That's not possible. It is not possible for a self-preservation 6 to be 1E because it isn't. The descriptions of the type clearly state it's a type that has a very foggy and very almost disconnected way of approaching its emotions. It's those emotions are tangled in and they need time to process them from a distance. There's nothing 1E about that type, and that would be the only alternative. So pretty much, it's not that SP6 has an issue fitting 3L as a placement. It's an issue that what would be the core focus of SP6, and it is the head. The head, the mind is the focus of self-preservation 6, and that would be 1L. I don't know with Joker, but why would Joker be LIE? I don't see Joker as an LIE. There's nothing TE based about Joker. And Mr. Beast. Okay, I used to entertain LIE SO7 with Mr. Beast, for example. I'm like, oh, Mr. Beast. But I think what really helps me is to ask myself this question: if this person is this very fucking, very strange combination that might not exist, what other type should I make sure to confirm that this person is not? What other type Mr. Beast might fucking be? If he would not be SO6, SO7, he maybe self-preservation 3, right? Maybe self-preservation 3. Or maybe ILE. So I would first make sure he's not one of those fucking things before I'd ever make a conclusion that this such and such type that is very strange exists. Oh fuck. Oh my. That's what we are dealing with. And not only that, I will shock you even further. EIE. EIE Billy Hargrove. Billy fucking Hargrove as an EIE. And that's it. And that's it. You can argue with that, okay, as a polar, but I w- now we would be nitpicking details. Let's say this motherfucker fits ILE perfectly. He fits it very well, but he's a workaholic. Do we not type him as that? Do we type him LIE because he's a fucking workaholic? You know, so just because a guy is a workaholic, I'm not gonna type him something because of that one specific thing. Exactly. Now, guys, this is a good way to think about this shit. It's very possible that Mr. Beast is self preservation 3, which is count of vanity, right? Count of vanity. But what I do think, he's extremely good at creating results. He's extremely good at understanding something and understand how to make it really do what he wants, how to get the most profit out of it, how to make it the most efficient. He's the best at that. When he was making thumbnails, he researched such a TE base. He researched how long people watch it, what pictures I get the best results, everything. He just researched every single fucking thing, every fucking statistic to understand what he should do in order to succeed. Man, that guy is such a fucking TE base, just absolute TE base. No, it's not gonna work because again, why would SP6 be 1F? And why would they have like second emotion when they like okay, second emotions could work, yeah, of course, process, but why first physics? Why? I'm guessing you didn't read the book, right? You didn't read the self-preservation 6 book, maybe. Being vigilant and being distrustful doesn't mean you are a 6, right? Eights can be vigilant, and eights are distrustful, can be very distrustful. Doesn't mean that they become sixes. So a person who's very assertive, who's very charismatic, attention seeking, and very kind of bombastic that way, I don't see how this individual would be a fucking 6 to begin with. And if they fit the traits of Enneagram 2, they're Enneagram 2. And just because you are distrustful, just because you are vigilant, you can explain it with fixes, you can explain it with other shit. It's up to you. But SP6 EIE doesn't exist though. Now, if we're talking about Model A, because I know that in Model G EIE H exists, but in EIE would never be SP6 in Model A. What's up, man? What's up? This is a very fucking difficult question, man. Very difficult question. Very fucking difficult because I haven't even thought much about it. But I would say it is. It makes sense. It is genetically predisposed at the very least, which could end up being innate. Now I think here a big portion of your type might be genetically predisposed. For example, the reason why I think that is when you if you are an 8 core SLE, you are by default gonna be VF. That's who you are. That's your personality, VF, and the rest depends on fucking either 3E or 3L. Just depends on some shit. Who knows what the fuck it depends on? Maybe on your different temperaments. Maybe right, influence of your environment. But I do think it is probably largely genetical, like with everything else, or maybe even just innate. It's not something that we can really fucking know, especially with PY. It's not as studied, and people don't give a fuck much about it. Fucking mosquito. Lana might be an IEI. It's been a while since I've looked into her, with my updated knowledge, my Uno card. But if she would be an IEI, she would be a social four. I mean, it's very possible. You need to do the full typings of Lord of the Rings, my man. Um, yeah, yeah. That shit could pop off. People love Lord of the Rings. That shit's famous. I should do that, actually. Huh. Yeah, yeah, maybe. Like, have you know what? Could like make a video and talking about the main characters, some scenes, and explaining why I typed them as X, Y, and Z. That would be more engaging than me sitting and telling you, well, I think fucking Bilbo motherfucking Slurpants is this type. That's fucking boring. So giving some scenes here and there, some cuts, could maybe make it more interesting. Yeah, but EII SP6 is not gonna be 1E. It's gonna be fuck you, man. You fucking rat piece of shit. Not in the fucking mood. Listen, uh, I need to fucking practice meditation. Let me fucking just. Okay, so SP6 is LEFV. This guy's based. Someone give this motherfucker a cookie. How does this work? Oh. Uh, do I believe in them? I don't give a fuck about them. They're like that abandoned child in the basement. No one really gives a fuck about. And that's kind of what EVLF is. It's a mysterious being, that motherfucking Bigfoot who maybe your uncle saw him one time, but your uncle's also a fucking degenerate alcoholic who is blind in one eye. So do you take him seriously? Fuck no. But My conclusion is that I don't give a shit about EVLF. But I'll tell you something. That's something I've learned in typology, and it's a phrase I use. Time shall. I fucked up. I think I fucked up the whole thing. But I think that the time will tell, motherfucker. That's what I wanted to say. I mean, somewhat intellectual is a common thing. I mean, intellectual, but okay, depends on what do you mean by what do you mean by a intellectual? What is an intellectual SLE? What would you what would you classify as an intellectual SLE? What definition would you use? I think that's an important thing, because if I know the definition, we can argue if it is possible or not. Because people you're typing by dichotomies, I'm guessing, like introversion. It's not. I would not give a fuck about that. It's not a good way to judge your whole typing of him just because you think he's introverted or you think he's extroverted. I think Porcupine Jason is not necessarily wrong, because think about it this way: would you agree that people with very high NE tend to have more interests? You might say that, right? That technically, yes, generally speaking, they would have more interests. But would I say that's a core trait of NE? Not necessarily. I think we could look at other things of NE. I mean, at the end of the day, NE has nothing to do with having multiple interests. I think it's simply a shortcut, identifying a trait related to NE that you think might help you discover the element. So that's my opinion on that. Yo, yo, that's fucking funny, yo. That's it's it's crazy. Um, that's very possible. Oh my, that's very normal. Very normal. SLE. How many SLEs have actually fucking sat down and wanted to start fucking working out, learned so much shit? For me personally, that's what I do. Whenever I get into something, I do learn a lot. For example, there was a period where I learned a lot about PCs. I learned so much, and I didn't learn because I fucking love PC programming. I liked gaming, and I wanted to buy a new PC. Every once in a while, I wanted to buy a new PC, and to buy a new PC, I had to know what is the best PC parts I can get, and So I had to learn what each part means, how it operates, what's the best thing, what's the best performance. Well, let me watch benchmarks. Well, let me watch statistics. So I used to learn all the shit, and boom! By the time I got my new PC, I knew so much, about the hardware. The new hardware was the best, how it works, because of that necessity to gain the knowledge. Something with bodybuilding is the same way. You learn it because you want to, either lose weight, you want to gain weight, you want to maximize your performance, you want to do anything like that. So you study that, you try to understand it, and then you apply your knowledge. In that sense, SLEs can be fucking mega geeks, dude. Yeah, no, 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 no. Professor has zero choleric, in my opinion, too. Yeah. If I was to type his temperament, I would type in melancholic phlegmatic, or even yeah, yeah. But just one of those. Just no fucking choleric. Oh my god, yeah. Um, fuck me. It's very vague, friend. It's very vague. What? So the reason why I'm hesitating, what you're saying is not very weird. Like a logical person, that makes perfect sense. Navigates life using leverage effect with problems instead of too direct. Now that's where you kind of are starting to lose me. Instead of too direct and physical approach, that's already kind of a weird thing for an essay base not to have that direct and physical approach because that's the whole point of the type. So that's where the fucking problems start. Now, if you are a person who does use a more measured approach to everything, a more intellectual approach, right? Inhibited, more introverted, you should look into LSI. SLEs, while they can be that way, they can again, they are not monkeys. I would still expect them to be very direct and often they're irrational types. So and SE based, so often kind of use the physicality or the direct approach to solve issues. Um, that's what I think. Yeah, listen, I'm not gonna remove SP6 IEI as of now. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not ready for that shit. I'm not convinced. And in fact, there's another type that I'm not convinced anymore. ESC, like SO9. I'm not convinced that it is not possible anymore. I'm open to it. Uh, I don't think I can find many good arguments for it. I've seen Raven say some, but I was not as convinced, to be honest with you. Phlegmatic dominant, maybe phlegmatic choleric. I know SP9 can have that more of a bite. They're the most 8ish 9 core. Um, I think it probably also largely depends on the PY type, maybe on the volitional placement and shit is supposed to work if is secure with fluid emotional aware wants to confide in someone something to do. The thing is SX5 by default does fit probably 3E better. I'm sure you can find some quotes that support 2E, but majority of them will be 3E. Yes, you can start removing IEI SX5. But what the fuck am I gonna type Joe Goldberg? If you remove the type, what the fuck can I type him? That's very good way of thinking. You are correct. Yo, what's take care, Blizz. Take care. Do you believe in typology systems? There's nothing. I would say this. I don't like the word believe because believe means I have faith. I believe in this. I believe in this. Like I'm not sure if it exists. I can't explain it, but I believe in it. That's how I view it. For me, there's nothing to believe. It is true. I believe in personality theory. I've seen it. I've seen it play out. Enneagram. Most importantly, Enneagram. I would say Enneagram. Socionics. It's funny, but socionics for me, it's hit and miss sometimes. Sometimes I'm kind of like, man, this fucking system's kind of sketchy. With Enneagram, I see much more of the clinical approach and much more related to psychology of people. So, you know, yes, typology is real because it's based on shit that makes sense if you think about it. And I would never do them for fun. I'm not the kind of a guy who's gonna get online and make a YouTube channel. I'm gonna fucking jerk off to like typology for fun, Like I don't believe in it, but I do for fun. I would never waste time. For fun would be like, yeah, do it fucking once a fucking month, you know? Yes, indeed, it is impossible. And I would say if someone thinks they're an LSI SPA, they should look into LSI Sexual 6, because that's more likely. Again, you just might be an SLE. I don't know you. You have to keep that in mind. I'm only telling you what you've told me. I don't see the situation. I cannot judge the situation. I don't know you or all of your other facets of personality to be able to tell you if you are an SLE, SP8, or you're an LSI SX6. Yes, and that's the argument many people have, that the type is not as fucking extravagant and spurgy with with their presence like an FE base would be. But then people say, well, SO9 is one of the most extrovert types. If you look at examples of SO9, they're quite gentle people, you know. So that's usually the argument here. I know, I know. I was actually questioning it yesterday. Funnily enough, you said it. Um, I was questioning, yeah, fuck, man. And I used to be one of those people who said, I used to say, well, why is he SP5 and why is he not SP9? And honestly, I don't think people can answer this question. Why is he SP5 and not SP fucking 9 when those both types look the fucking same, right? Those both types look the same. So what the fuck? Um, I'm not fucking sure, man. There are some examples I've seen that I could potentially, maybe like Indiana Jones, I could type as SP5, I guess. But with those types, I'm not completely fucking. Um, Sukuna is SP9, self-preservation 8, self-preservation 8, not SX8. The guy was, the king of curses. Focus on immediate satisfaction with no fucks given, and that's it. There's a voice call and yo, there's a voice call. Okay. Um, there's a huge difference. I would say there's a huge fucking difference. The LSI S66 is much more intellectual. It's a more introverted, more careful, and more rational in the sense of socionics type, right? Um, while SP8 is more immediate focused. Lust. Just think that SP8 is lust. It's about indulging in life, often without restrictions, with impulsivity, oftentimes guiding their decisions. So it is a person who doesn't want the restrictions in anything. They indulge more and more with a lot of need to feel alive, and this need to feel alive, this stimulation is necessary for the SPA to kind of survive. So they kind of constantly fucking feed more and more. LSI 66 is not like that. They're more careful, they're more cautious, and the biggest difference, they're very 3V. So that's the big difference too. They're very 3V. What sign? What is a sign you use to determine someone is a Enneagram 3? Um, I look at usually it's pretty simple. I look at few things: ambition, achievement, striving, perfectionism, adaptability to the external standards, those are some of the things I look for. Okay, now you're gonna argue, well, those can be also SP4, those can be one. Yes, but I do like look at the ambitiousness. I look at the adaptability to societal standards to fit an ideal, and I pay attention to those things. Usually, makes things very clear. Some people overcomplicate this three shit. It is not that fucking complicated. No problem, man. You should think about S66. Um, look at some of the different characters that are typed as social six. Although I removed all my shorts, so it's gonna be difficult for you to look at the examples. But Batman is a good one. Rorschach is a good one. The guy from The Killer, new movie, also very sexual six, is a good one. There's such a big difference, man. You know, and aside sexual six is much more methodical. There's a big difference. While the SLE can be much more of a monkey. So in the terms of very direct in how they go about doing shit. But how the fuck does he get typed as that though? How are people typing this motherfucker SO7 ILE and people on the other side are typing him SLE? Like there's such a big difference between a fucking SLE 1V and a fucking ILE. Like there's a big difference. So I don't know how. Um, David Goggins. But the thing, Rahat is correct. He seems very fucking process will. How are you gonna explain this motherfucker is not process will? Oh, it's all about. Yeah, I need to grind set more, but think about my goals every day. I study what I'm gonna do the next day. I need to keep grinding to fucking do this, to do that. Process will, process will. There's so much process will. 1V doesn't reflect on shit like that. They don't spend much time thinking about shit like that. So I do agree. He seems very 2V, if anything. He seems strong will, 2V, FVEL, probably. This guy is very correct. This guy is very correct. So you can use him. See, Kenny? Compare those two types. Which is the sixth function anyway? Like which one are you meaning? Which is the fucking sixth one? I ain't fucking counting that shit. What makes a type conscientious? So you mean wait, do you mean conscientiousness, which is the C factor? There are few facets that you need to score higher on, right? Depending on the scores, it needs to even out more than 50%. So dutifulness, orderliness, self-efficacy, uh, responsibility. Fucking what the fuck was that? The next, I don't fucking remember the next ones. Orderliness, self-efficacy, dutifulness, cautiousness. I remember cautiousness. Uh, Discipline. Was the fucking discipline? I fucking forgot, man. No, I don't believe it could. It's weird in my opinion. A bit weird for a seven core, which by default is a charlatanistic type. By default, a very sanguine type, and To be honest, I would say as a type, they're sanguine primary. So for a type to be sanguine primary as a core and not to have any sanguine is very weird. It is very fucking strange. At that point, why is he a seven? He's a choleric fucking big daddy dom who doms motherfuckers daily, puts people in their place, is domineering, is ambitious, doesn't give a fuck, insensitive, but he's a fucking seven. So what the fuck, you know? I think choleric, melancholic. See, I think any type can be goofy and funny with close friends. You know what I'm saying? I think even a melancholic people with people they're very comfortable with, they can have some moments when they're more goofy and they're more funny. That's I think, and you have to also understand that honestly, in my opinion, everyone has. It's not that you just have two temperaments. You're just choleric and you're melancholic, and that's fucking all. I think of temperament, at least in terms of like a scale of like points. You have 50 points of choleric, 40 points of melancholic, 20 points of fucking sanguine. You have some traits maybe that might be interpreted as sanguine, you know. So just because you can be goofy with fucking close friends doesn't mean you cannot be this type. Because it's nitpicking, you know. That would be a detail, and a detail that's not the most important. There's 50 traits of sanguine, right? 50 fucking traits. That's just a one of them. That's just one of them. 1F religion would be Satanism. Satanism would be 1F. Do you know why? Because Satanism is all about indulging in your impulses at whatever, doing whatever you want, however you want, fucking whenever you want, fucking however you want. Basically, being a free spirited degenerate. That's what, at its core, what Satanism is. Obviously, don't hurt other people. I think there's some shit with that, but that's what it is. It's not that. So the reason why I'm thinking uh, second will, it's not because he's motivating. It's because he's processing will. He's constantly processing his volition. I need to grind more tomorrow. Let me write a list of what I'm going to do tomorrow. My plans. Constantly fucking, he's obsessing about that self actualization, but not in a very first will way. It's a constant renewal every single day he gets up, he does this. I just don't think 1V people do that. One V people don't give a fuck. I don't think that's a thing. I don't believe in VLFE. It's a much more dogmatic, ambitious, serious type. I just don't think it would fit. It's. I don't think so. I don't think it fits ILE. I don't use any books for temperaments. I honestly just used Google. I learned on Google, and I think temperaments are very easy because what I find with temperaments that they're very intuitive because it's behavioral. It's temperamental. You look at someone and you can tell. With the blends, it's a bit more tricky. I do admit. With the blends, it can be a bit more fucking tricky. But I remember just looking at some of the websites with the blends, 12 blends. I don't pay attention as much to the descriptions. I do think they can be a bit misleading. I think, but I pay more attention to the traits, to the separate traits, characteristics that each temperament has. Social 7. Social 7 is 1V. Live, let live. Attitude related to. Live, let live. It's a general question because many people can have live and let live attitude. I think many fourth will can have this attitude. Many 1V can have this attitude. Second will can have this attitude. In terms of like archetypally, this syntax of love would probably associate this behavior with second will. That's what I think archetypally. But in my opinion, humans all that's I think it can. I think it's very rare. I think it's very rare, man. If it's Sky, it will be very rare. Not like very. Oh my God, it's one in a fucking billion, but it would make me very suspect of this eight. It would make me think this is an LIE. Maybe even as some fucking who the fuck knows, some 3 core, some 7 core, I don't fucking know. But it would make me very suspicious. Not to say it's impossible, it's just sus. I don't understand how can 1V not give a fuck. 1V gives a fuck about their goals. But I'll tell you this. If you have a goal, what's the point of processing it? You know what to do. Do you constantly focus, hyperfixate on your plans? Do you constantly revisit your ambitions? Do you constantly make sure that you're always chasing some ideal that you renew every time you make those different changes because you have to be on that grind, because you have to be chasing something? In that sense, you're kind of dwelling in that processual kind of territory. 1V people can have goals, but obviously they're driven by fucking by their desire to implement their will on the external world. But there's not there's not as much fucking circle jerking, identity, fucking going back and forth with fucking plans. They know what the fuck they need to do and they'll fucking do it. There's nothing. It's very fucking simple. I have a question. Do you believe that females tapped as sexual 2, sexual 8 are actually sexual 2? Do they have to be fully masculine? I would say many sexual 8 women are actually sexual 2. That makes sense. That's simply because of how often related those types are in many ways in women. Yes, but do you have to be a fully masculine woman to be an 8? Depends. What do you mean by fully masculine? In behavior, you know what I'm saying? In behavior, you need to be pretty fucking masculine. Like even if we look at the sexual 8 women in real life, in behavior, they're pretty fucking. They have masculine traits. They do. They don't look like it. They might not look like it. They might look very feminine, like they look feminine, but the personality is still more masculine than not. Self-preservation 3, compulsive in behavior. Mm, what do you mean compulsive in behavior? Yeah, I mean all SP3s are kind of perfectionistic in what they want, and they're SP3 does his job. He wants to do his job very well, right? Uh, So it's pretty fucking. Is more likely to be organized or not in Big Five. I would say. So I'll tell you this because it's hard to really judge it. I mean, you can read those descriptions and try to figure it out. I would say it's more likely to be unorganized. My reason for that is that if I look at real life examples and fictional examples, the organized SP8 is going to be pretty rare. It's going to be in the minority. Okay, most examples of eights that you see in real life too are going to be unorganized, disorganized. So I would say it's probably going to be just compared to, for example, SX8. I think it might be more in the middle. Okay, so it's not crazy disorganization in Global Five, but still they get the letter U rather than the letter O, in my opinion, because it's not a type that's super concerned about fucking order, about dutifulness, cautiousness. They just don't give a fuck many of the times. On I've seen the documentary, and he did look very social for, but very unhealthy. He looked so fucking unhealthy. That guy is fucked. Victim, pure victim fucking mentality. Like peak, nothing. This guy fucked himself, and he seemed very te polar to me, like very weak te. This guy had so much fucking money, and then he had fucking nothing. And I'm talking like fucking $700,000, dude. He did some really shitty. He put 600,000, basically 90% of his fucking cash, of his money, he put into Bitcoin. Bitcoin, a system that's completely unreliable and always changing. And he put that big fucking number, hoping it's gonna fucking work. I mean, this fucking guy just not thinking. Jesus. If I was you, psychos. Okay, start with the simple ones. Psychosophy is quite simple, in my opinion. That's the benefit of it. You should probably look into psychosophy. Once you have psychosophy 100% figured out, you can already know your anagram from there. That's my opinion. That should be the easiest. But anagram and psychosophy, probably your best fucking votes here. Do feel good and find out. I think 3Vs. Listen, 3Vs are complex people in terms where they have the highs and they have the lows. So they often feel very fired up and feel good about the things they might have achieved or the things they will achieve. But the classical really problem with 3V, and it is very process will oriented, is that no matter what, they never feel like it's enough. So 3V is basically a type that's marked by this constant sense that you need to do more, that it's not good enough. It's always fucking more. Always forward. Always forward. It's just never enough. That's often an issue I've seen with many people who are very 3V, and for them it's helpful because they don't feel like it's enough. They keep want to go forward. They want to achieve more to gain that finally satisfaction. They're chasing satisfaction, and that's what can make them very ambitious, right? 1V doesn't have that fucking thing. So in many ways 1V is more lazy than 3V, because 1V is not fucking, even if they're not fucking achieving some god knows what, they already inherently feel maybe even entitled to it. So whatever the fuck ever, right? That's the superpower of 3V, I guess. I would never believe in SX7 3V. um it's such a bum coded type, and I can't believe why people even like sexual. I've seen the quotes, and it's a person who has no focus on hierarchy. It doesn't give a fuck. Everyone's just equal, whatever the fuck. They're completely unbothered. They don't give a shit. They can't. They make themselves out to be huge clowns and mockery. They are able to be mocked at, and they don't give a fuck. But often very fucking lazy and send and give the responsibility to deal with shit to other people. Give it to other people because in many ways they're fucking unreliable. That's the understanding I gained from reading SX7. I don't see it. I don't see. I think it's very fucking 4V type, man. Thoughts on foil? Chill. It's very chill. It's a chill placement. That's what I think. Um, Not spurgy, not try hard, adaptable, simple. I like him. Yeah, dude, I was actually fucking thinking about this today. I need to make the vocabulary, the rusted typology vocabulary. We need to make it fucking famous because I see motherfuckers using my words. Motherfuckers are using my words. Okay? I look at some fucking forum and I see them like, oh yeah, cosplayer, bitch ass. The fuck? Using my fucking words now? Which is a good thing, of course. It's a good thing. I should make a video soon on that shit. Um, the two types are very different, even as an archetype. One of VFLE is spontaneous with expression, much more kind of outgoing. Again, it's a person who can be more expressive, more dynamic, more there's more unfiltered expression in the VFLE, in the 4E individual. So there's that more charismatic kind of edge to it, and more circle jerk in 3L. With VFEL, you see someone who's more reserved, someone who is more cold, more stoic, keeps their feelings and to themselves. They're not really showing them to other people, positive or negative, it doesn't matter. Very turbulent. The emotions are turbulent, especially in relationships. It's not unbothered. It's not unbothered. They do pay attention to those feelings, and if you spurg near them, if you're very emotional near them, it can often have a negative impact on them. It can cause anger, can cause annoyance and frustration. 4E is more unbothered. People getting emotional. It's not. It doesn't really bother us on such kind of neurotic level. It's kind of you're emotional. That's fine. Like it happens. So it's a different archetype. One is very more stoic, more inexpressive, more dry, and more kind of that emotionality. They're more sensitive to it, especially when in touch with other people. While the 4E doesn't give a fuck that way. Rusties, Rusties, yeah, Rusties. That's cool. I don't even believe fucking Enneagram 3 SE works. I don't believe Enneagram 3 works with irrational type, SE base, or well, it can work with ethical type, but depending on the subtype. Yo, obviously, listen, don't be like me. I've had to learn to filter myself. I've had to learn to, not fucking say everything that comes to my head. to sometimes, think about what the fuck I'm saying. That's a good thing, but I still fuck up, as you see, right? Slurper here, fucking Jewish there. And those things happen. But people sometimes take them fucking very seriously, Like, yeah, just because I use the word, now you're gonna get fucking angry and you're gonna, like, think I'm this bigot or whatever the fuck word you have for me. Like, you think it's that deep, but actually, I don't really give a fuck about that because it's just a word. And it's a fuck fest. So, being honestly being on YouTube and being on a public platform, it helped me. It forced me to try to actually fucking filter myself to some fucking degree, where I'm not just just fucking throwing bombs. Although probably I don't fucking throw bombs anyway. Probably a fucking exaggeration on my part anyway. Who is Sang Woo? Who is that? A chick? Is that a guy? I watched Squid Game, but I don't remember Sang Woo. There's always a sensation of coping. That's as simple as that. There is a sensation of coping in 3V. That's it. Deep shame, often deep shame, often deep insecurity, really rooted in the personality, at the core of the personality. Mixture of, yes, I want to do it, but then they fail to excel in it. They fail to assert themselves in certain situations, or maybe they even over assert themselves when it's not necessary to gain self-esteem or to gain some sense of power, or even, like they matter. 2V wouldn't have that problem. Everything's balanced, everything is even. You don't see that acting out, you don't see that the shame. They don't struggle with those things as much. At least when I look at 2V and I look at 3V, that's how I view them. I view one, there's that component of coping, and with the 2V, I don't see that component of coping as much. Because 3V ones, they can be very glorious in their fucking ambitions. They can have fucking many, but they're weak will. So often they don't actually feel inherently confident in the ability to carve their own way, which is why they often overreact to things, which is why they over have to flex things, or they often feel inadequate. They feel ashamed that they are not good enough. All of those things happen with their will. Yo, bruv, you are crazy. I watched that shit 2 years ago, and you're like, yo, 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 the second to last guy in Squid Game, he is Sang Woo. I'm not gonna fucking remember who this last guy to the second guy or the fucking whatever fucking guy in Squid Game is. I wish I had such fucking good memory. That's detail work. Those are details, man. Is this guy in glasses? Is that the genius guy? The smart motherfucker? LIE. I think if I know what the fuck you're talking about, maybe LIE. Yeah, he seems probably more SP3, and because it's funny, he seemed like a good guy, right? He seemed like a very like helpful, good guy. Why is your channel's name Rusted? Long story short, I go by the nickname Rust. That's my nickname, Rust. The nickname Rust came actually from my wife's novel. She was writing a novel about a guy called Rust. This guy called Rust was based on me. And that was when she first met me. When she first met me, she was writing this book, and she wrote a character, Rust. I was reading this, like, who the fuck's this Rust? He seems very similar to someone I know. So from that, and she called it Rusted Swords. The name of the book was Rusted Swords. When she was writing it. So I thought to myself, you know what, Rust. I mean, that's my nickname. Okay, Rusted Swords. Maybe I'll just call it Rusted Typology, motherfucker. It's catchy as fuck. It's simple, and it has typology in the name. What the fuck? It's easy win. So I thought, yeah, I'm gonna fucking go with Rusted Typology, and that's the fuck it. But guys, anyway, we should quit. We should quit. It was 2 fucking hours. Like we ain't no. This ain't no motherfucking zoo. I'm not that good at just slurping in front of fucking everyone, doing jumping jacks, just like that. So guys, listen. I'm gonna record Anagram 5. It's happening. Okay, it is happening. So that's the next video. That's my plan for the next video. Anagram 5. I don't want to fucking do it because fives get jerked off to, but that's just the way we're doing it. We have to fucking do it. That was the deal. That's just the way we roll. We all know the fucking deal, okay? So we will do that. We will do 5 core next. And after 5 core, maybe we'll do some fun shit like tier list and maybe rusted vocabulary fucking shit. And maybe then we'll do some MBTI. I don't give a fuck. You can always drop fucking ideas what you want to see. And if I like those ideas, I might actually use them for my videos. Bro, we did 3 hours the other week. Yeah, man, but 3 hours. Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, we did 3 hours, but my wife's waiting. I'm not gonna like listen. I'm not gonna fucking strip in front of the fucking strangers for 2 fucking hours while my wife's waiting. Come on, man. We have a life. But see you guys next week. And in fact, see you on the next video. So stop fucking jacking off and actually go to my videos and fucking comment next time I fucking drop a video and shit. Be present. Show me. Hey, that's me, the jerk off who was on the stream. I actually do watch your shit. Bye. Take care. What's Gucci? And that's it. Anyway, guys, listen, enough spurging. I need to calm down. Okay? Need to chill. I need to relax. I know it seems like I just can't keep talking. I can keep talking. And it's true. I can keep talking for hours. I never shut the fuck up, but that's not a good thing. Even when I should shut the fuck up, I don't shut the fuck up. I just keep going. Okay? So please, someone make me fucking stop talking. Close this. I'm gonna smoke after. Yeah, I six for rusted. As a Sia stripper. Oh fuck. Yeah, okay. I'm out. Bye guys. Take care. Don't let the bag is rust is black. Don't let the bad bugs bite. Failed. Second language moment fail. Ah fuck it. Bye.